So give a round of applause, your next comedian and your next professor, Brigitte Martens.
Good evening, dear audience. I am a historian, also known as a fossil. Now, in most scientific disciplines, there is a question. And then a sterile situation is created in order to collect data that serve as the evidence or the answer to the question. It's like in a relationship, really. First the fucking problem, then the evidence, and then you smash your boyfriend with a hammer. I must agree, or I must admit that the scientificity of my argument did not work out in court. Anyways, that is a very, very valid kind of research, but it's so bloody boring. One straight line of investigation with very collaborative bacteria, rats and woodworms. And I must ask you now, please, mind the woodworms. Now, in my discipline, things tend to be a bit different. There are no collaborative respondents, as they are all very, very, very dead indeed. Nor is there a straight or linear research trajectory. The only thing that I have at my disposal is stinky, rotten, dirty documents. Now, these documents are kind of like a boyfriend, really. They're never helpful at first. Actually, they're never helpful at all. They incessantly raise more and more questions and bring up more and more problems. But in the end, seen from the historian's perspective, these documents are in a state of pregnancy. Now, the boyfriend metaphor gets loaded here. What I actually want to say is the following. These documents embody a specific way of dealing with a problem at a given moment in time and space. Now, this might sound very theoretical to you. I will give you an example that dates from the Middle Ages, this dirty, barbaric, stupid, dark era in which religious stupidity and ignorance reigned. So, historical sources describe what happened one particular day in the 15th century in some small provincial town in France. Like every year, the bishop came to the particular village to visit the town's cathedral. And the bishop had his seat, a special seat, on which no buttocks but his fat ones could ever be seated. Now the bishop entered the cathedral, placed his bottom on the seat, and then suddenly the legs of the throne break off, the bishop smashes his head against the floor, and there is blood everywhere. Now, do not worry, the bishop survived, but I must admit he lost his mind, never to find it back again. Now, we leave the bishop's body where it is. Some young boy will take care of it, and bishops are very used of young boys taking good care of their bodies, as you know. Now, the church officials sued the town inhabitants with neglect for nearly deadly consequences. Now, actually, what happened was woodworms had eaten the legs, the bishop's throne, and the town inhabitants did not take care of it. So now we're having this bishop being nearly dead. Now, in these days, you see, the loss of cognitive faculties was still something to be deeply deplored. Nowadays, the less brain cells one has, the more Twitter messages one can formulate, and the brighter your path will be. The town inhabitants were sued, but so were the woodworms. No kidding. I'm really being very real here. So, and in my documents, it appears that they were actually defended by a lawyer, a top-star lawyer. Now, the system of pro bono was an old medieval church initiative. And we have to be very clear here. It was not only humans, but every living creature on the planet was entitled to legal defense. Not out of concern for their clients, of course not, for their own sake, media coverage. Why do you think that Sven Marie and Jeff Vermassen defend such animals like the Aquinos? Now, in my documents, the lawyer of the woodworms has to speak in absence of his clients. Or did you honestly think that even in the Middle Ages the woodworms would show up? Now, I'm reading out of the documents here, and I'm speaking as the lawyer and what is written in the documents. The lawyer says the following: this court is not qualified to treat this particular case. You endow my clients with the faculty of speech and the faculty of free will. Two faculties my clients do not possess, but the absence of these faculties are inherent features, and we have to respect it. Now, I am very sure that the same arguments would work and could lead to acquittal in the Aquino case. The lawyer continues. Besides, the procedure sucks. Well, it's not written like that, but I have to make a bit up. All right, the court has sent a convocation to the woodworms to appear in court. All right, a magistrate was there to actually witness the rightful transmission of the document. But no one saw the good reception of the document by the woodworms. No one actually saw the little woodworms peeping out of the wood, reading the document and signing the document. If you think Belgium is absurd, try the Middle Ages, dear audience. A third argument raised by the defense of the woodworms. Actually, some kind of reputation damage. The lawyer says the following: you treat my clients as devilish and evil creatures. You can say what you want. In the end, they have successfully made the journey in Noah's Ark. All right, not as part of the officially invited delegation by Noah, but as asylum seekers. In the end, they deserve all our respect for the fact that their journey was successful, and they deserve every of our respect for the fact that they do what woodworms do, which is eating wood. That is where the trial documents stop, where they end. It doesn't end very well for the woodworms. Actually, they're sentenced to lifelong exile from the cathedral's wood. But the inhabitants were held by law to find a new and suitable home for them first. Now, there are no documents that actually could serve as evidence for the removal of the woodworms out of the cathedral's wood. Neither are there documents that state how the woodworms actually felt about it. But all that does not matter to the historian. What matters is the following. Actually, there is no domain in science where being is so nice as in the position of the medieval historian. You're always the one and only person on the planet who actually read that specific selection of documents. So honestly, any fucking crap you tell will do.